What's this is the Betway Beat brought to you by Soccerbeat, Petu Mo Flava. Numzwile, he's already pouring his heart out. Football is so emotional. And a massive Kaizer Chiefs fan, of course. We know him from as a broadcaster, Highfeld, 947, 9 to 12, every day on your radio. Always on Twitter, on social media. Always ready to engage. We thought let's hear from him. What is this? What is this thing that he wants to get off his chest so much that he comes back on social media every day, to engage with people. And I brought the legend himself, the man they still trying to find a solution for. Kaizer Chiefs. Tsepo Masilela. Tsepan, hi.
Ita.
Ebola this time, DT. Lendo of speaking from the former players' point of view, sharing insights, Maskesive Kwaba, who give up their time, you know, and love this game.
And the nice thing about ABBA, because we all skulele kasi. So people they see maybe if you're a DJ, they think you never played, the game. But most of the guys, artists, DJs, sonke sidlulela apho sizwe. That's how it is a kasi, So sometimes people underestimate their knowledge of the game. And they are clued up and they know the game very well.
Yeah.
Masim tested with the biggest one, Carl said. Masim tested with the biggest one, Flavio Silva. Chiefs has made signings.
Yeah.
Let's start with that one.
Look, I was saying the other day on X, because a lot of people were making noise and Flavio is going to save us and whatever. We've seen this before. Until we can see a player kick a ball, until they play competitive football, then we can surely start to say, no, there's something here, or maybe there's nothing. And you know what? If a player is gifted, but it doesn't take 5 games or 10 games for one to realize or perceive an ability in someone. A player can display quality within one game coming from the bench and have an impact. So we can tell as football fans, we're not technocrats, we're not analysts, we're football fans. And fans also know because we rely on what we see. And we can tell. So I don't want to go with preseason and the preseason that my club, Chiefs, had in the Netherlands and so on, because I don't think it's a fair sense of things. The true test, if he's going to play this weekend, starts this weekend. That is the true test. So, I'm not part of the hype. In fact, there's not a single player that we have signed a Chief that I'm going to hype. Dalang hype abantu but disappointed. So I'm going the practical route right now.
Tsepo, I hear Mo saying, if he plays, Tsepo, there was a time when Chiefs signed a player. That player walks into the starting 11. There's an expectation that when that player steps in, like the fans are going on Sunday to Stellenbosch to go see this new player. Uti Umo, if Flavio starts, Tsepo,
if and again, the if only comes from what we've seen so far and what he has given, the team so far. We're not gonna sit here and lie. Gucci, he's been flying preseason, like we can't wait to see him. He hasn't been that good also, and he's maybe still in his time. So if we have to travel to Lumnando feed, as Siam Susu if we're waiting for travel on Sunday, Baba. So it comes from what you have shown, defense. That's where we can make our prediction of the starting 11 from what we've seen, maybe from the previous friendly games or previous games. That's how we make our predictions. So we're just trying to be fair. If he plays.
But the other thing, Buffett, is that sometimes as a Chiefs fan, and I saw this last season with Coach Nabi, I haven't figured him out. I haven't figured out, okay, who does he trust, who does he not trust? Because his lineups haven't given a sense of consistency to say that this is a player that he trusts and this is the reason why. So I hope I'm going to see that this season where, when a player is starting in the game 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row, and where you can see why a coach is picking that player, get sense with, okay, Ucoach uyamthemba lo mfana. So sometimes the changes that have taken place in the team last season have been confusing. Where you're like, "Hi man, is it because there's an injury issue? Okay, ayikho injured. So nagamthembi." Or so I'm hoping that we'll get to see a little bit more consistency in terms of like I said, Nabi. Who do you trust? Masiti Mauvuga nje, your first 11. Who's in your mind?
Now that you say that, yes, Mo. Now that you say that, I really need to hear Kahle. You know, I think Coach Nabi got a full season. You know, you got preseason, you got full season of whatever happened. 9th place, Nedbank Cup champions, whatever you got.
Yeah.
He gets another season. From where you are sitting, is there belief that this year, like as you say, you couldn't tell who was the starting 11? Is there where you're sitting? Is there something you think you're gonna see that is gonna bring and make a change in the team?
Well, there's new players that have come in. I think it's about 6 players or something like that. I stand to be corrected. And it's players in defense, it's players in midfield, it's players in attack. So what does that mean? Does that mean that whatever he had last season in those positions, we're going to start seeing changes? Are we going to see a different midfield setup because now there's Undlovu? Are we going to see a different attacking setup because Flavio is there? So I'm still, unfortunately, in the waiting room. You know, like when you get on a Teams meeting, but you're in the lobby. That's where I have to. This is the first time where one would say he had a full season, preseason, and he was there when players were signed. Yeah, one. But this is not a season to say, let's give him time. There's no time. Yes, the Nedbank Cup is an important cup for confidence and for building the character of the team and the players, and also Tina as well. But for now, it's really this is the business end of his tenure at Chiefs. He has to show us. We've given him the time. Now show us. Show us. Show us in the league 5 games, no defeat. Show us 5 games.
Hey.
Spanning seat divided by 5. Yeah, but 5 games now, no defeat.
That's an expectation that should be that should be standard for Kaizer Chiefs, right? We're gonna come in the season and make a statement, and Uti, it's almost like an ultimatum. Yeah, but when did this thing change in Tepana from an expectation to something that's like, oh, I hope Chiefs, hey, I hope, hey. When did this change, Tep?
It changed throughout the years, if you don't deliver for a longer period, and then it creates doubt, Guma fans. We don't know this year what we're gonna get, but if you keep on delivering, you're consistent every season. If you are Sundowns, we saying, hey, sure, unga number 1, is Sundowns to get number 2. Because the results have been there, they've been delivering their trophies also. So with Kaizer Chiefs, unfortunately, if you go for 10 years without winning a trophy, so you must was ukuthi lento lekudala ikhona. Now there's doubts about which Kaizer Chiefs are we getting this season, But also for Coach Nabi, I don't think it's a season of project or still cooking, As a coach also, if you're a top coach, you demand a lot from yourself. There comes a point where now as a coach, you have to come out and tell the fans which we're going for it. And give and that will give the fans confidence, Because once a coach always comes up, man, you end up looking like you have excuses or you're buying time so you don't get fired. So I would like a coach this season, a confident coach, no cooking, no project. We want to win trophies.
What is that thing that's you want to come in? I can see. What is that thing? Is it top 4? Is it another trophy? Is it what is that thing that Chiefs must do this season? Like like
The thing is, we have to take the success of last season with the trophy. It means something. So that is something that we are now benchmarking against to say we can win the trophy with Nabi because we did it last season. Now we're expecting more trophies. All of a sudden, 1 trophy is not good enough. Obviously, MTN 8 is out the window. Yeah, so now we have to look at other competition. There's trauma with Black from last season. Okay, fine, but they're still the league. So from a league point of view, I don't want to sit here and say we're going to finish top four. I'm not going to sit here and say top four, not because I don't believe in the team, but if we have a conversation again after 10 games, then we can talk about top four finish. But without having seen the team play and only them starting this weekend, I'd probably say at least top eight. We have to make top eight at the end of the season, and then we can circle back after a few games and say, no, man, okay, it's been 10 games and we like what we see. Now we can punch above our way to say, no, actually, maybe it's not go top four. But based on where we left off last season and all of that, I think top eight is where we can finish, but not top four in the league.
That smile is not convincing.
No, I just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
So would you consider a number 7 a success for Nabi if he finishes number 7 in the coming season?
That's not success. No.
Oh, okay.
But I'm being realistic, cautiously optimistic to say, given where we finished last season, given that we haven't really, Nabi's not running at full steam. The engine is not running at full capacity. So asibone ukuthi ke this season, is he going to be able to hit maximum performance, 100% modulation, optimum performance? Because if he does that, then he's going to get into top 4. But if he doesn't do that, we're going to have to pray again for a top 8. Chief doesn't have a problem with support, love for the brand. We talk the way we talk, but it's because we love this team. And we know that the team can produce quality. We've seen it. Tsepo Masilela, prime example, a player that's got leadership qualities. Tefo Mashameite, leadership qualities. So many former Chiefs players where in a team there's 9 leaders. 9 leaders in a team. There's no way you're not winning something with a team like that. And we know we can be there, but we have to work towards that. So we're passionate about this club because we love it. We fill up the stadiums. It's going to be full on the weekend, even though there's a venue change. But we have high expectations. And the no manga business, Buffett. Aye.
What is the problem? Mo? What's Chiefs' biggest problem? Because what I love about it, you come up with these words on your own. Cautiously optimistic. Cautiously optimistic. You know what? Tefo. You know what that means, Tefo? It's like you go like this in the cold water.
Yeah.
We've been here before, and like I'm saying, I think in fairness, first 10 games. Let's see what happens in the first 10 games. Let's see if there'll be a rhythm. Let's see if there'll be consistency.
Yeah.
Let's see if there'll be an ebb and flow about the team, the chemistry amongst the players, how we play effectively in defense and in attack. Yeah. When we build up from the back, is it generally a fail or is it generally a success? When we reach the final third, are we penetrating into the box? How many box entries? When there's a player who wants to put the ball in the box, how many players are in the box? Because last season, you would have 2-3 players in the box, sometimes 1, and everybody's outside the box. So how are you going to score? How are you going to score? The goal that Yusuf Mart scored, I think in the Nedbank Cup final, if it wasn't for Dupree holding that ball beautifully, we wouldn't have achieved. But there was no one in the box. This is a cup final. So the mentality has got to change. We need to get in the box. So I don't know. The question you asked was, what's wrong?
Is that they're not the problem, Mo? That here is Chiefs is a Porsche. I mean, I'm not advertising a brand here. It's a luxury car. It's a BM. It's a Benz. It's a, it's a Rolls Royce. I mean, it's Chiefs. It's quality.
Yeah.
And you are saying to me, Kshota, mapistin, Kshota. I mean, I've never seen a luxury car start.
Abokrotman abotsepo kudala bahamba ngama-Porsche lapha e-Chiefs lapha. I-Chiefs phela
No, not me, man.
No, look, the only thing we can be very positive about is that there's an air of optimism, however degree, but there's a belief. And when Chiefs fans believe, I'm hoping that belief will rub onto the players. So I'm a player can have the confidence. I mean, Tsepo, I don't know I've never been a professional footballer, but I can only imagine what it feels like when you can see when the fans are not confident either in you as a player or as a collective, where you can feel it with these people don't believe in us. I mean, I can only imagine how that feels.
What if they don't achieve these things, Mo? What if they don't achieve these things? Tsepo, maybe let's start Mankalo Go before Nzekumo. What if Kem Tepana? You know, there's an underachievement of some sort. I don't know, because Mo is saying top 8, someone else will say top 4, someone else will say 2 trophies. So the expectation is not equal here. Yeah, so what if then Chiefs doesn't achieve something in this coming season?
No, but definitely, top 8 shouldn't be a case of which can they make it or not. That should be a given. A team like Kaizer Chiefs, top 8. It's if they can finish again outside the top 8 and win trophy, then changes has to be made. Heads must roll.
Mm.
Like any other business, if the results are not there, heads will roll. There will be changes.
Mm.
Whether, because sometimes it's easy to look at only the coach, but you have to look at when you sit down and analyze, what went wrong. It's not only the coach. Now we start from the sporting director, from, physical trainer, the whole, and then we check, we sit down, analyze, and then big decisions have to be made. They will be made.
Okay, niza estratweni if they don't achieve. Niza estratweni. Siyanazi kaloku
Listen,
niyathanda ye-K team. Niyofaka ama-commandments.
if we don't achieve this season. Because, we are in the best position to do so. Chiefs doesn't have instability like other clubs. Look at what happened with Supersport and Siwelele. Look what happened to many other football clubs that have gone through massive changes, players having to adapt to, crazy realities. Um, Chiefs are stable from an organizational point of view. The fans are there. So if you're asking me what pieces of the puzzle are missing, it's the delivery, the food on the plate. Because we're all there. We're ready. We're ready to feast, So it really does come down to a lot of things, but it's also about, players and commitment, which sometimes I don't doubt. There are a lot of players that are committed, but it's got to be everyone. There's got to be commitment everywhere. You've got to feel like players trust each other. There are times where I'd watch last season and I would wonder, does this player really trust this other one? Ngathi lo abafuna ukumnika, ngathi lo bad pass abamthembi. You can't have that. You can't have a situation where you're worried about your goalkeeper when they receive the ball in build up and what he's going to do, and then so there's got to be an overall shift in mentality. It's got to be positive because the support is not lacking, the resources are not lacking. So yeah, over to you, Coach Nabi and the boys. It's as simple as that.
And when you hear the team, is as you know, lacking in the strike force, there's a very popular player who was a TS Galaxy, Zaimovic, a free agent. He was here on our platform on Soccerbeat, and he expressed and he said, "I'm a free agent. I don't understand why my phone hasn't rang." You see the comments. You know him. You saw the quality. I mean, Pirates fans are wild about him, but of course, Pirates have signed people. Our Sundowns fans are even saying it doesn't matter if we've got Mutiba and Shalulile, bring him. But Chiefs, interestingly, haven't joined that conversation. Is that not worrying that Chiefs are no longer like favorites in chasing guys like that, like top quality guys like that?
Well, it boils down to what you identify, what you need for the club. So Chiefs, have to figure out how they want to play, and how they want to play, figure out who they need to play in that fashion. I agree with you. He's a great striker. I mean, his stats are okay. Obviously, there were better players than him in terms of in the final third and whatever. But you almost feel like when he's in the box, something can happen, and that's what you need at Chiefs. But maybe I don't know what Chiefs were thinking or what they saw and they didn't, or what they didn't see. But this wouldn't be the first time we let go of a good player or not show interest in a player or whatever. There've been many players. There've been many players that I feel we should have signed when they were at their peak, and instead we signed them when they were in their twilight years, which didn't make sense. players who spent their entire careers in the PSL when we could have scooped them up before they went to a Sundowns or wherever. And instead we ignored them. And then Babiza nje, too late, with all due respect. So late. You know, it's one thing to bring a player, top level player, who was playing in Europe, and you bring him to the PSL. The level is different. He comes with another level, especially if you play a Premier League in whatever league in Europe, you know, regularly, and you bring that player in. Trust me, he's going to bring something, and we've seen it. Tsepo Masilela, the case in point. And so there are a lot of players that we missed out on as Chiefs that we should have signed when the iron was still hot, but we did. But I think it's all in the past. Now, yeah, Saturday. Now, Stevie Parker, Saturday, and we need.
No, Unabi, I think he said it. He said it in one of his interviews. Why? Give me the reason why he beat Stellenbosch 3 times. So now we're looking at a 4th time. Unabi said, "I am the Stellenbosch." I just hope they start strong. You need a strong start also to get everyone going. As quickly as possible. We don't need a 3 games, 1 draw, 1 win, one. We need a strong start to get everyone in the mood, and the vibe and the fans. Behind the team. So I just hope they get a 3 points on Saturday, and it's it's from there they should skyrocket.
Niki prediction gets happen. Niki prediction get. How do you see that like Stellenbosch Nishangaki? Let me ask it that way. Nishangaki.
2-1. 2-1.
You wanna predict who's gonna score the goals?
Let me go with Mdu and Lelipo. Do Shabalala and Lelipo.
Which would say for Uti and Uti Ubolum for scoring Chiefs winning 2-1. Need to have a strong start. We thank Mo Flava for joining us. We thank the legend Tsepo for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Please keep commenting, subscribe, like. This was the Betway Beat. Let the beat do the talking by Soccerbeat.